Hello friends, SentinalH here, oops, and welcome back. Oh come on, as soon as I start the intro, a meteor comes from out of the sky. Welcome back to our ChromatiCraft tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to go over a couple of things, two devices that you'll find extremely useful and necessary and that are early game and easy to craft. And we'll also be mentioning a very exciting thing. ChromatiCraft has just, as well as all of Rake's mods, have just received their version 17 update. I extremely recommend updating your Rake's mods, especially your ChromatiCraft if you're going to follow this series. It's added a whole lot of new stuff, a lot of new lore to ChromatiCraft, which I think has made the Chroma lexicon a bit more clear and easier to follow. There's more progression nodes, I believe, as well as just a lot of new and cool stuff. There's some more world gen structures in the world, which are really cool, which we'll take a look at as soon as I can find one, maybe, hopefully next episode, as well as a few little changes just to the aesthetics of the mod. One of the things that's changed is the achievement sound effect when you actually find something new. If I go ahead and give myself a new info fragment, we should be able to hear it. That was cool, right? That cool thing, that cool sound. And it popped up the thing on the upper right that this page is about. So that's neat. Keep an eye out for that. That's the new tune that occurs when you discover something new. I like it a lot. I like it a lot better than the old sound. It's not as harsh and it's more melodious. So that's pretty cool. I like it. Now we'll take a look at these two devices, the Chroma Collector and the Lumen Turret. We'll start with the Lumen Turret because it's one of the most simple things you can craft in ChromatiCraft, but it's extremely good, extremely useful. If you watch our Rev 3 series, any of them that have featured ChromatiCraft, you'll know that we get these as quickly as we can because they're just so useful and good. Lumen Turrets are for base defense. They are extremely effective at killing mobs, and they require no ammunition. They're crafted in a basic crafting casting table. If I go in here, now in the previous episode, you'll remember that we upgraded this casting table to level 2. That's what this is. But you don't need this. The standard casting table will be able to craft Lumen Turrets. In fact, this isn't even activated because I haven't put a casting room around this table. But we're going to go through all of the recipes that don't require the casting room, and then we're going to go into the tier 2 crafting. So all you need to craft 4 Lumen Turrets, so it's very generous, is 1 block of crystalline stone, 1 Ruzova crystal shard, and 3 glowstone dust. Now you do need to use these pink Ruzova shards. You can't use any other color. So you are going to have to hunt down the pink shards. But they're not extremely rare, so you should be able to find at least one. And just remember, if you find some of these, save them for your Lumen Turrets. At least in the early game, you can use other crystals for your basic crafting. These ones, use them for Lumen Turrets. Now, where do you get crystalline stone? This is another thing that you need to craft in your casting table. If we go in here, by the way, the Lumen Turret and the Chroma Collector, the two things we'll be looking at in this episode, are both found under the basic crafting area of the Chromatic Lexicon. If we go down and we go over a bit, we'll be able to find, well, where is it? I found it earlier. The crystalline stone. There. Down here, to the right of, over here on the resources level, to the right of entry level and exploration, you'll find basic crafting. And this is where you'll find the crystalline stone. Crystalline stone is a building material, but it's also extremely widespread throughout the mod. You're going to need a ton of this stuff. All the multi-block structures in the mod, and there's a lot of them, require this stuff, and a lot of the crafting recipes as well. So you'll want to get a supply of this ASAP. Thankfully, it's extremely easy to craft. All you need is any color of crystal plus 4 stone. That's it. You can use any color. It doesn't matter. You'll get 8 crystalline stone blocks out of the recipe. Very useful. There's also ways to craft crystalline stone into specialized blocks. These are all used for the multi-blocks, so if you're just getting started, you don't really have to worry about these until you have to craft a casting room, which you can see in one of the previous ChromatiCraft tutorial episodes that I did way long time ago. That casting room design has not changed. But you can craft these stone blocks in various patterns to get different types of crystalline stone. And so definitely check out this page for the crystalline stone, because there's a lot of them that you'll either need or are decorative. These ones, the ones that get past the stone bricks, are higher level, and you don't need these in the early game. In fact, you can't craft these until later, so I wouldn't worry about them right now. Suffice it to say that you're going to want to craft some of this crystalline stone. Good thing it's pretty darn cheap. 4 stone and a cave crystal shard of any color. So use the ones that you have the most of. The general rule of thumb for me in ChromatiCraft is to always make sure I have at least some of every color of cave crystal that I come across. So I'll use the ones that I have a lot of first for crystalline stone, because I would hate to use up a color that I need, like for these Lumen Turrets, and then not be able to get it. So simply take a piece of crystalline stone, a Resolva crystal shard, and 3 glowstone dust, put them in your casting table as shown, then right click with your elemental manipulator to craft 4 Lumen Turrets. And that doo-doo is your cue that it was completed. Because of the chest right next to the casting table, it's already been pulled out, and now we have 4 Lumen Turrets. Now these do have a couple of rules. The only rule really for the Lumen Turret is that it has to be have a clear line of sight to the sky. So if I put a Lumen Turret here, and let me make sure that I'm actually on normal, so I can spawn a mob down here, and we'll go ahead and give ourselves a spawn egg for a spider. This Lumen Turret will not shoot the spider, and the reason for that is that this Lumen Turret does not have a clear line of sight to the sky, and so it's not working. If I place one underneath this hole that we made earlier, it does work. They do have a decently short range, so they're not extremely long range, but they are very effective, as you saw there. Every shot from the Lumen Turret does 2 hearts, and they fire very quickly. So that first 4 that you get, more than enough to secure a small base. Place them near your entrances to make sure that enemies will never be able to ambush you, you know, outside of your door. I believe that they have an angle of effect, so if they're too far above an enemy, I'm not sure if they'll be able to hit. We can fly up to the surface here where we'll have views of the sky more readily, and we'll go ahead and place one down, and then we'll go ahead and test that, just so that we can be a little bit more accurate. Come on. I wanted those stones because I wanted to place them. So if I go ahead and place my Lumen Turret like 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks up, we'll see if it can shoot the spider down here. As you can see, it doesn't shoot the spider. There it goes. Actually, it did. Come on. It's definitely not shooting it as often. There we go. Now it shoots it no problem. As long as it's on that level. It looks like the Lumen Turrets don't like to shoot things that are below them more than a couple of blocks. See, it's not shooting this spider, but it shoots that spider. Of course, the spider has now gotten so close to this column that it can't shoot it anymore. So keep line of sight in mind when using these Lumen Turrets. See, it is shooting the spider over here, but they've got to be a bit further away. It's got to find like an angle to them. So I would recommend placing your Lumen Turrets on the same like level that the mobs are going to be on. Then you don't have to really worry about it not being able to shoot them. Or at least maybe 1 block up. But putting them up on your roof is not going to be very effective for killing mobs that are on ground level. Just keep that in mind. we'll head back down now. So that's the Lumen Turret. Very effective. I really like them. It's good that you get 4 in a craft so that you can make those pink crystals go farther, because you can only use the pink crystals. So I would highly recommend getting some Lumen Turrets. They're just extremely good. If you've got ChromatiCraft in your pack, it's almost worth dipping into it just to get these. Lumen Turrets are great. Next, the Chroma Collector. This is a machine that you're going to need to craft and have around, because you're going to use a lot of this stuff called chroma throughout ChromatiCraft. If I go into the book and I look down the list under other blocks next to the leaves, you'll find under exploration the liquid chroma. You'll get this page extremely early. Liquid chroma is condensed experience, basically. It tells you wonder if this fluid can be bound into items, and it will be. Liquid chroma is a necessary crafting component for a lot of stuff. It's also used in many multi-blocks. It's a key component to acquiring boosted crystals, which are another key crafting component around tier 1 to tier 2 of crafting. So you're going to need a lot of this stuff. So I would recommend starting to gather it as early as you can. It's a very cheap machine. It can be crafted in a standard casting table for 3 stone blocks, 4 of any color crystal shard, a glowstone block, and an eye of ender. Alright? If you don't remember how to craft an eye of ender, it's an ender pearl and a blaze powder. So you are going to need to acquire a blaze powder. However, in most mod packs where you'd have ChromatiCraft, you can get blaze. If you have Thaumcraft installed, you can go to a desert and use cinder pearls to get blaze powder. So you don't even have to go to the nether, which is great. Then you can get ender pearls from Enderman. Once you have your eyes of ender, then use it in this recipe and craft yourself a Chroma Collector. If I take my elemental manipulator and I right click on my casting table, it'll craft that for us. And it goes down in here, and we got it. Now I placed one over here. You'll recognize the Chroma Collector by all the little, crystal and energy runes that appear around it. Now, the way that this works is that it's got an input tank for experience and an output tank for liquid chroma. So you can pipe liquids out of and into this this machine. If I grab this and place it on top, if you have a mod installed that allows you to collect liquid experience, you can pump that into the Chroma Collector. Otherwise, all you have to do is stand on top of it in order to drain your own experience. So if I go into survival, I currently have 3 levels. And that's because I've got this Zambaru cave crystal. So if you're going around and you find the dark purple crystals, if you have Silk Touch on your pickaxe and you pick one up, I'd highly recommend it, because standing near it gives you a slow, steady trickle of experience. So it's extremely useful to place at least one of these near your Chroma Collector so that you'll gain experience while you're, using it. So if I stand on top of this, it'll drain my experience extremely quickly in order to produce liquid chroma. The ratio is 1 level gives you 5 millibuckets of liquid chroma. So you can see we're generating millibuckets of it, although not a ton. I attached a RotaryCraft liquid pipe to it just for fun, to see if it would work. But I'm not actually sure if it pumps out the side or if it pumps out the bottom, though. So let's go ahead and find out. I'll go back into creative just to break these blocks so that we can see whether or not it pumps out the side or the bottom, just definitively. And the answer is the bottom. So you'll need to pump your liquid chroma out of your Chroma Collector through the bottom, which is great. It creates this really cool glowy liquid, and you can even put it in reservoirs from RotaryCraft. You can put it into any tank. It's a liquid, just like any other liquid in modded Minecraft. So you can pump it around and store it in tanks. Liquid chroma is very, very useful. In a future episode, we'll go over exactly what it's for. Suffice to say, you're going to need a lot of this stuff. A lot of it. Buckets of it. Truckloads of liquid chroma. So, farm up those Zambaru crystals, because if you place a bunch of them around your around your Chroma Collector, you can just generate a lot of experience like that. See? It's giving me experience quickly enough to generate a decent trickle. But as I said, if you've got mods installed that allow you to generate liquid experience in another way, this is an excellent way to use it. You pipe it in the top and you pipe out your liquid chroma from the bottom. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode about these early game blocks that you're going to find extremely useful. Again, I highly recommend upgrading your ChromatiCraft and all of Rayka's mods to version 17 if you haven't done so already. The updates are really great, especially for ChromatiCraft. Adds a lot of cool new stuff. So yeah, I'm SentinalH. Stay tuned for future episodes. I almost forgot. Like and comment the video if you enjoyed it. Join our Discord if you're interested. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.